Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Sarah Horbacewicz. In just a minute, we'll explain the latest details about the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. But first, we're going to get a quick check-in with meteorologist Simone Thomas to forecast your week ahead. Get prepared. Simone, what do people need to know?
Well, we had a heat advisory today, so we're going to see another one tomorrow. We're back in that trend of hot and humid across the central Arkansas area as well as the state as a whole. You see much of the state tomorrow shaded in orange, expecting heat indices between 105 and 110. So as you head out throughout the day tomorrow, it's going to be a fairly warm day. We're starting out in the morning in the 90s as early as 8 o'clock, looking to hit 90 degrees. What that feels like, looking to feel like we're in the triple digits by 10 o'clock. By noon, we're going to feel like 106, and then when that heat advisory goes into effect, we're going to be feeling like 105 or greater through that time period. And across much of the state tomorrow, we're going to see those heat indices well into the triple digits. Some relief is on the way later on in the week. If you stick around, I'll tell you what you can expect as far as how soon that's coming in that 7-day outlook.
You know, the political record in this country has gotten very heated. It's time to cool it down. We all have a responsibility to do that. Disagreement is inevitable in American democracy. It's part of human nature. But politics must never be a literal battlefield, or God forbid, a killing field.
That was President Biden speaking from the Oval Office earlier this evening, asking Americans to cool the temperature down around politics. Tonight's speech comes just a day before the Republican National Convention is set to begin, continuing on schedule even after the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump yesterday. Natalie Brand has the latest.
Supporters looked on as former President Trump's motorcade arrived at his Milwaukee hotel ahead of the start of the Republican National Convention. Trump's family says he's in good spirits after Saturday's attempt on his life.
Quite jovial, just wants to get back at it.
The RNC is set to begin as scheduled starting Monday, though delegates and volunteers say it will feel different.
And this obviously changes, kind of the whole mood here at the convention.
Yeah, like you said, I think people are going to be a lot more motivated. Again, I think there's going to be a lot more unification in the party, across the country. Citizens have seen something that, we haven't seen in a very long time.
Speaking from the Oval Office Sunday night, President Biden said political violence has no place in America.
You know, the political record in this country has gotten very heated. It's time to cool it down. We all have a responsibility to do that.
The president also ordered the Secret Service to review security plans for the RNC. But the agent in charge in Milwaukee says she's confident in the convention planning, which started more than a year ago.
We have an operational security plan that's built out for every area of responsibility related to any and all aspects of security related to this event.
The FBI is leading the investigation into Saturday's assassination attempt. The shooting at Trump's Pennsylvania campaign rally killed a father and injured others. President Biden has directed an independent review of security at the event, with questions unanswered about how it was possible for a gunman to get so close to the former president. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Milwaukee.
This weekend, we're hearing more from Arkansas officials in response to yesterday's assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Former President and Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton sharing, quote, "Violence has no place in America, especially in our political process," adding that he and Hillary are thankful President Trump is safe and are heartbroken for those affected by the attack. Little Rock Mayor Frank Scott Jr. also sharing on social media that he stands against all forms of violence and is praying for former President Trump and anyone impacted at the rally. And this weekend, Arkansas U.S. Senator John Bozeman is asking people to join him in praying for President Trump and those at the rally. Also, U.S. Representative Bruce Westerman sharing, quote, "America is a nation that is made stronger through political discourse, and violence has no place in that discourse." This is still a constantly developing story, and following yesterday's assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump at that rally in Pennsylvania, about 50 miles north of Pittsburgh, disinformation was rampant online. Ariane Datil from the National Verified team joins us now to help you sort fact from fiction.
Something that said, take a look at what happened.
In the hours following the shooting at a Trump rally on July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania, an incident the FBI is investigating as an assassination attempt of the former president. Misinformation circulated about the identity of the shooter. So let's verify some key questions about the alleged suspect using these sources. First up, what do we know about the shooter? The FBI identified the shooter as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, a Pittsburgh suburb about 50 miles from the Trump rally. The Secret Service confirmed that its agents shot and killed the suspect. Federal campaign finance records show that when Crooks was 17, he donated $15 to Act Blue, a progressive political action committee. Pennsylvania voting records show Crooks is now a registered Republican. November would have been the first presidential election he was eligible to vote in. Has an official picture of Crooks been released? No. In the aftermath of the shooting, several photos claiming to be the suspected shooter went viral, but none of them are of Crooks. This photo being shown is actually Italian YouTuber Marco Violi. Other posts show images of comedian Sam Hyde. Photos of Hyde have appeared online since at least 2015 after various high-profile mass shootings across the country and have become a sort of meme associated with gun violence. Next, have officials confirmed what type of weapon was used? Yes, according to several news organizations, law enforcement recovered an AR-style rifle at the scene. 2 law enforcement officials also told the Associated Press that investigators believe the weapon Crooks used was bought by his father at least 6 months ago. Does Crooks have a criminal record? No. Public Pennsylvania court records show no past criminal cases against Crooks. If any juvenile records exist, they would be sealed. As always, be wary of potential misinformation in the wake of news events like this. Think about the source of the information you're hearing or seeing before sharing. The FBI says this is an ongoing investigation. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
More than a year later, one Little Rock neighborhood is still rebuilding homes that were damaged in the March tornado. But as cleanup continues, residents find themselves being asked to speed it up. THV 11's Rebecca Brown has more on this story.
Getting things back to some semblance of normal, some semblance of nice, if you will, has been a bit of work.
More than a year later, and people living in Walnut Valley are finally feeling as though things are starting to look up. Many homes in the neighborhood were hit hard after last year's March 31st tornado in Little Rock.
We've just moved back to their house less than a month ago, and we have been displaced for all that time.
And while this neighborhood is trying to move forward on the road to recovery, they still find themselves hitting a few speed bumps.
One of the bigger issues has been lots and spaces that have not been kept up or have other people dumping things in spaces and keeping them hard to clean up. And the city has for a while done what they can to work with us, but at this point in time they've sort of dropped the hammer and are basically saying the moratorium on not hitting houses is up.
Now some of the lots are getting a warning from the city of Little Rock to have their property cleaned up. While John Payne, the president of the board for the Walnut Valley Homeowner Association, says he respects this warning, he feels it lumps together a large group of residents who are genuinely trying to fix their homes in Walnut Valley.
Some are just now, literally a year and a half later, seeing good money from insurance companies so they can get started on whatever they're going to do. Some of them had issues with contractors coming in, doing good work or not doing work, disappearing.
We reached out to the city about these warnings. They say in part, quote, "The notices issued recently are another effort to ensure property owners continue to make progress with cleanup and code compliance," adding that they're working with property owners in the tornado zone to support cleanup, repair, and reconstruction. Meanwhile, Payne says they will continue to strive as a community to get back to the place they once were.
To make sure that people who are here, who stayed here, know that we're here for them, and to hopefully bring more people into the neighborhood.
In Little Rock, Rebecca Brown, THV 11 News.
The city of Little Rock says they have reached out to some property owners, sharing the importance of complying with city codes during the rebuilding process. New tonight, Shannon Dhy, best known for her roles on Charmed and Beverly Hills 90210, has died. She's been battling cancer since 2015, and in June of last year, Dhy announced that the cancer had spread to her brain and was terminal. Dhy had no children, and she is survived by her brother, Sean Dhy. She was 53 years old. Still ahead tonight, we're showing you how a quick acting treatment is giving hope to patients in a record amount of time. Simone?
We've got a hot and humid start to the week. Highs climbing to the upper 90s on Monday with heat index values as high as 110. I'll talk to you about the week ahead and how soon we can see some relief coming up after the